Miseducation is actually, it's like a metaphor for actually being re-educated, unlearning some bad things, you know what I mean, some things that I may have perceived to be the truth, you know what I mean, that actually weren't. It really has a lot to do with personal evolution and personal growth, and really understanding that there are things that society teach us, which are like general pieces of information, you know, just for the general public, and there are things that are extremely important for us to individually learn, you know what I'm saying, just as far as just personal relationships.
The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is an absolute masterpiece. And if you really listen to it, it's a concept album about the lessons that are taught by this thing called life that oftentimes prove to be more valuable than so-called book learning. Stick around, because the theme of that album parallels the theme of this video. We're going to look at the ways some Black women have been miseducated to their own peril. If you're new here, I go by TSF. That sounds familiar. And for those returning, you know how we do. When I eat, all my people eat too. Get your dinner set. We're about to eat on this one. I'm a firm believer that you can learn in multiple ways, two of which are by being burned or by watching someone else get burned. Adjacent to this, a wise man once said, "Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others." That's why it's so important to exercise a bit of forward thinking as it relates to advice from others, because each decision we make is essentially a path that's going to lead us somewhere, either towards getting what we want or towards disappointment. Some Black women have unfortunately been steered toward advice based on faulty reasoning and distortions. Some of it sounds good, some of it's even well-meaning, but when you follow it to its logical conclusion, it turns out not to be such good advice after all. Take feminism and everything that it introduced. History shows Black women weren't at the forefront of that movement. They were invited in to bolster the numbers, but there was a catch. While white women fought for equal rights and opportunities, they still remained tethered to their husbands and families. Somehow, Black women got a different memo, one that said, "You don't need no husband. Man is just gonna hold you back and relegate you to the lowly position of a housewife, a baby maker, and a domestic servant. You need to strive to be financially independent and successful in spite of men. If anything, you can do bad all by yourself." As we look at some of the ways that Black women were overreached, think about whether it's affected them and the community in a positive or a negative way. When we talk about family planning, imagine hearing for the first time that sex didn't have to lead to procreation. You would have the ability to delay marriage, pursue higher education, and maintain professional careers without the burden of unplanned pregnancies. Now, motherhood could be a choice rather than an inevitability. That was a game changer. And they took that propaganda straight to the head like a shot of Don Julio 1942 Reposado. But we look up 50 years later and we see 20 million Black babies deleted, the highest rate of any demographic. Follow it through to its logical conclusion. And don't get me started on the debunked talking point that Black women are the most educated demographic in America. It sounds like a great accolade, but a quick fact check from the National Center for Education Statistics can get you right on that. You don't believe me?
What the hell is the purpose of telling such a lie? Black women hold 70% of all master's degrees and 61% of all bachelor's degrees. That right there is a lie straight from the pits of hell, and I am a Black woman with a master's degree and a bachelor's degree. I have had my master's degree for almost 10 years, okay? I earned my master's degree in December of 2015, almost literally 10 years ago, this year. You're not about to just say that Black women, in my program, there were only 2.5 of us, actually. It was me, my friend who is biracial, has a white mother and a black father, and then my other friend who I met in the program who's Nigerian. So first of all, please don't diminish the personal experience of black women who have actually earned this degree. We are not just one of a whole bunch of us. But anyway, this ain't about my personal experience. Here are the actual statistics. As per the National Center for Education Statistics, black females hold 11.5%, and this is as of 2021-2022, 11.5% of all bachelor's degrees conferred in the United States of America. As for master's degrees, black women hold 14% of all master's degrees as of 2021-2022 conferred in the United States of America. Like, y'all, be so for real. We only make up, black people in general, men and women, only make up 13% of the population of our country. And you think mathematically we would be able to make up 70% of all master's degrees and 61% of all bachelor's degrees? Y'all, the same people spreading these false, ridiculous statistics struggled to pass Algebra 1 and absolutely never took statistics, ever. Will y'all stop it? Let the thinkers think, and y'all go ahead and do something else.
It's a provable fact that other races of women and men outpace black women in degree attainment. Not only that, but they also enroll and complete degrees in high-paying fields. But no other culture shouts that they're the most educated, especially as a means to buck up against their men. Likely because most other cultures still prioritize family and tradition over individuality. Let that sink in. Look, I'm not saying education and a career aren't commendable, but it's worth considering how these pursuits align with long-term goals like marriage and family, because the timing and intentionality do matter. And focusing on these things exclusively might come with unintended consequences. Too many women have chased degrees only to end up saddled with considerable student loan debt, a job or career that's not garnered them the salary expected, or worse, one that AI is about to replace. They've traded the covering of a man for financial independence, and we can see where the marriage rates are as a direct consequence. But even if you got a well-paying, long-lasting job, imagine putting off relationships because you wanted to make significant advancements first. Now imagine doing all that because you want to be independent and not come under the covering of a man. Imagine curating your life to where it's nearly impossible to find a meaningful relationship with a man. Imagine being the demographic that is among the least married. The truth is, you don't have to imagine, because all these things are playing out in real time before our very eyes. Many black women desire meaningful, long-term relationships with good men. But as a community, it seems we just can't see the forest for all the trees. And I'm not saying that it's all women's fault, but this video just happens to be about black women. For their part, black women who desire these relationships need to come back to the table. Stop listening to the women who are giving them advice that takes them further away from what they say they want. This is free game for men and women. When you're contemplating whether to take a bit of advice, it would behoove you to imagine following it through to its logical conclusion. Try to consider all that could possibly happen, including the worst case scenario. Are you prepared to accept the worst case scenario if it came to that? If so, that's your prerogative. But don't say you weren't educated about where it could possibly lead you. Now that we got some understanding, I'm about to get up through here on y'all. If you got value from this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and watch one of these videos next.